Hey guys, since there are already hundreds of handstand push-up tutorials out there showing you the different progressions to reach a handstand push-up, I wanted to make this tutorial a little bit different to provide you guys some value and hopefully some new information. In this video we will focus on the execution and the technique of the handstand push-up as well as on the most common mistakes. And I also want to show you some drills on how to get rid of those mistakes. I like to explain my clients a handstand push-up with a simple visualization of two lines crossing each other. Let me show you this. The first line represents your starting position, the handstand. The second line represents the end position. These two lines cross each other and build an hourglass form, which made me call it the hourglass technique. So what does these two lines and the planes tell us? The first line is the movement axis of our hips. You might have already noticed that the hips just move up and down that line during a handstand push-up, no forward or backward movement. This is important to keep your center of mass always above your wrists and to stay in balance. The second line, together with the hourglass plane, represents the movement of our legs and shoulders. The angle between these two lines varies from person to person depending on the length of their arms, legs, and so on. So once you go down, you also need to push forward with your shoulders and backward with your legs to keep the straight body line and to stay in balance. So everybody, including me, is always talking about keeping the body in a straight line the whole time. But if that would be so easy, no one had to talk about on how to achieve a clean handstand push-up. So let's take a closer look on some key points of the movement where you most likely will lose the straight line and why. For a lot of people, the problem starts with doing a straight handstand. They fall in a hollow back position and don't open their shoulders, like Raymond is doing it in the video. But how can you fix this? The first step is to work on your overhead mobility so you are able to elevate your arm enough so it's aligned with your body. This alone will help the most people to get the line straighter, because they don't need to compensate their shoulder mobility problems with back arching. In the following, we will show you a few exercises to improve your overhead mobility. Be aware that this is only a small excerpt and that there are many more exercises out there. The second tip I want to share with you is using your glutes to bring your pelvis in the right position. Just tense your glutes, which automatically brings your pelvis in the right position. In addition to that, also tense your abs so your whole core is tight. A lot of people have trouble with the forward movement of the negative. If you go too far, that will automatically lead to a loss of balance and the end of your handstand push-up. A good drill to avoid that is to place an object on the ground and focus on it. It should be about one upper arm length away from your wrists. While going down, you can let your nose touch the object and then push back up. As well as going forward too far, there are also people that try to not go forward at all. So if you mentally prepare for a handstand push-up, always try to focus on the hourglass technique to avoid leaning forward too much and to avoid leaning forward too less. The last mistake that often happens during the negative phase is falling too much into a retraction. If you lose the tension in your shoulder blades and let them move toward each other too much, it's really hard to push back up, and it looks shit. So be aware to also control your upper back. Once you have mastered the negative, you are now probably facing some new problems on the positive part of the handstand push-up. The most common mistake is the back arching while pressing up. Sometimes it's even used with a little momentum. Let's take a closer look to the reasons why so many people do this while learning the handstand push-up. If we look at the vertical axis of the handstand push-up, we can see that on the left side, with a straight body line, there is a distance between the line and the feet. And on the side with the arched back, there is no distance to the vertical axis. The bigger this distance is, the more torque your shoulder need to resist, which automatically means if you close the gap by arching your back, the press-up motion is way easier for your shoulders because it needs to resist less torque. So for the most people, back arching is not only a matter of too less control, but also of too less power in the shoulders. So how can you fix this? The answer is pretty simple. By training. You need to strengthen the muscles that are elevating your arm. The last mistake can be really frustrating because you're actually already strong enough. The mistake is losing the core tension in the upper part of the push-up. This happens if you don't concentrate enough. A good tip to avoid this is to breathe in, tense your abs, and first breathe out after you are back in the handstand position. So if you concentrate enough and focus on all the factors we discussed, the handstand push-up will soon count to your training basics. Thanks for watching the tutorial. Feel free to leave a comment, a like, and of course to subscribe. If you're interested in full workout programs which are including handstand push-ups and many other skills, just visit my website and check them out.